to anyone that's trying to start something or go down a path that's, less traveled, high risk, high reward, because it's such a high risk, dude, 80% of the world is not going to believe in you.
Exactly.
And like, be cool with that. Who cares what other people think? Do your thing. Do what you're good at. Do what you think you can make a change. Like, if you think you can make a change and stand for something, and you believe in something enough to make you want to, like, if you're waking up every day and you're excited to go work on something, who cares about how much money you're making?
Welcome to the Powerful One podcast, episode 23, but this is episode 1 of season 3 of the Powerful One podcast. I'm so excited to bring you guys a new season full of awesome content, great and powerful, inspiring stories, great guests. So it's going to be an awesome season, but we're starting off the season with Teddy Giard. Guys, if you remember a couple episodes back, I had Teddy's brother Adam on. Now I get the honor of having Teddy Giard on. Teddy is such an impressive guy. He actually recently just graduated from Clemson University. He is also a co-founder of Kanga Casemates and the current head of branding. So he does everything from digital media. He does videography for them. He does strategic planning, overseeing creation, retail, advertising, all kinds of stuff. His video content and his pictures are amazing. He's done such a great job creating a culture and a brand and an identity for Kanga. But guys, the idea behind the Kanga coolers is such an awesome thing. It's so cool to see how far these guys, Teddy and his business partners, have come from just starting with an idea and a Kickstarter to now how successful they are with their coolers. But it's such an awesome thing. It's a no ice cooler that you can put a 12-pack, a 30-pack, a 6-pack in. It keeps it cool for as long as you need to drink the beer, the soda, whatever it is. And it's just a cool, fun way to just bring convenience to beverage cooling, and just a really awesome thing and really cool what they're doing. So definitely check them out at kangacoolers.com. And in this episode, we talk about everything from the early stages of Kanga. We talk about his college experience. We talk about schooling in general. We talk about how important it is to have good quality people around you, a good community. Teddy talks about the culture of Kanga and how amazing the culture is there and why that makes the atmosphere so fun. He talks about, loving what you do, not chasing after the money, and just so much great advice and insight into Teddy's life. So very excited to share this episode with you guys. Here it is. Enjoy.
Dude, what's really cool is that, like, the conversations, you and I think, when you and I, like, formed a relationship, met in the gym, like, whatever, it was through Adam. So shout out to him again. We've been gassing him up, but he's the beast. But when you and I, like, sat down for the first time, like, it just talked, I think we just went full blown into a conversation similar like this. These are, like, the conversations I like to have with people. These are the conversations I'm passionate about having. What I put out on the internet, what I do on the back end, that's all cool. That's fun and games. But, like,
right.
Get in to actually sit down and talk about, mentality, mindset, what drives you, what your passions are. Like, that's really cool. And, it's vulnerable, and it shows people, like, who really is on the other side. You got a digital self. You got like, people perceive you as a certain way, and,
right.
That's cool and all. But, like, when, like, you break it down, like, what are your core values and who are you as an actual person? I think, like, that's what's cool. That's what I love about, like, this mindset and, like, the podcast you got going on, like, Powerful One, like, just the brand you're forming, and, like, you're trying to empower other people. And that's always something I saw in you, is, like, you just want to see the best in every single person that you're around. And I mean, it's freaking awesome, dude. I think, like, it's going to take off. And I know that you're impacting people. I mean, you've been impacted my brother. You've impacted, like, people at the gym. Like, I mean, all those kids you like dedicated your time to, like, teaching, like, Muay Thai to. Like, you were a positive impact on their lives. Like, you were a person that parents were like, I want my kids spending an hour around Tommy, because, like, he makes them a better person. And I just think that's cool.
Dude, that means a lot, man. I do appreciate that. But, like, that's also what is so cool, is because, like, especially you, someone who I'm sure a lot of people you went to high school with and a lot of people went to college with, like, you've been very successful. And I think a lot of people look at like, you on social media and, like, think that that's like all you, which I know it is, because like what you put on social media is you, but there's a whole nother side where I think people who are like, come up to you and be like, Teddy, like, oh, what was it like being on Shark Tank? Like, I think they miss kind of like the who you are, like to the core. And so that's why I think it's cool, like knowing you on that level is like a deeper thing. It's like a deeper thing, you know what I mean? It's cool to see that side.
Dude, that's hilarious. You really hit the nail on the head with that one. Cause I mean, this year, I think senior year, I really didn't go. Like, I don't get me wrong, I love going downtown, hanging out with my buddies, having a good time or whatever. But I really didn't find myself going downtown this much. Or when I did, I was just kind of like, oh, when can I leave? Because every conversation I had was, how's the business? How's Shark Tank? You talk to Mark Cuban, blah, blah, blah. It's
right.
But it's from people that I don't actually know. And it's like, you can talk about that stuff. It's cool or whatever, but that's not the stuff that defines me, man. That's not my day in and day out. Like, that's something that happened it was a year ago. To me, in my mind, that happened 5 years ago. That is like, that is long gone. And so it's almost like hilarious when people even like bring it up to me, because I'm just like, dude, I haven't thought about it. The second I walked off that stage, I didn't think about that thing. Like, I never thought about it until we aired. And then the second it aired, I never watched it again. And so that was like just kind of the way it is, man. It's with anything in life, like, if I'm a big goal setter, I love setting goals. Like, you can actually see it up on my wall.
Oh, wow, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I write them down, and that's what I want to achieve. I stick it on my wall because, you know what, you're freaking looking at it every day. And did what I did today, did that like lead me in that direction? That's the stuff you don't see. Like, what?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, Shark Tank is cool, but was that a goal? Was getting on Shark Tank ever a goal of mine? No. Did it happen? Yes. Was it an awesome opportunity, and am I beyond grateful for it? Of course. Like, you know, we harnessed an opportunity, we made the most of it. But like, what's the end goal? What's that goal that nobody sees? And that's why, like, I always tell freshmen that come in, I always tell, like, I'll go speak at class talks and stuff like that sometimes. And I always tell kids, I'm like, hey man, if you ever want to like go get a bite to eat or something like that, let's do it. And, you know, you'll be talking to a class of 300 kids. You'll get, you know, 20 kids DM you on Instagram after the class talk. Thanks for coming. Hey man, like, I'd really love to like go out and eat. But that one kid in the class that comes up to you afterwards, and he comes up and like daps you up and says, hey man, like, let's go grab lunch tomorrow. Deal. That's the kid I go and talk to.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that, you know, did it. He went out and just, I want to go do something with this guy. Okay, like, let's do it. Let's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's get there. I want to talk to this guy beyond another level. That's what it's all about. Shooting your shot, man. It's not being afraid, like, whatever it is. I think when I came in to school freshman year, I mean, I don't know, dude. High school and college, I don't know if you can relate to this. I felt like I was always kind of a wild card. Like, I just kind of was different. Like, the way that I thought was different. And
100%. That's like, that's part of my premise of Powerful One, is how I felt. So I relate for sure.
Yeah. It's kind of, you know, you get thrown into a curriculum that's, you know, built to produce people that come out and work a 9 to 5.
It's
you know
true,
what I mean? That's what it's producing, dude. It's producing robots. And I don't know. I was never a good student. Like, I put it this way. In high school, speaking of goals, like, I wrote down, I want to go to Clemson University. This is the GPA I need. I need a 3.8 GPA. Their average ACT score is a 27. So I'm going to get a 29 or higher. And, you know, those were all long shots for me. I was not a good student. I had severe ADHD. I didn't understand stuff. I was in like the special ed math classes pretty much.
Yeah.
And every single day, Monday through Friday, I would stay after school an hour and a half, and I would work with whichever class I was having the most trouble with, one-on-one with that teacher. just because I was like, I have to get into Clemson. For whatever reason, I saw my dad went here. He was successful. I have family here. I was just being called here. Like, I think God just put it on my map, and that was a place I just knew that I had to be, that it was going to create the most opportunity for me. And I set those goals, studied my butt off for the ACT, met them all. And then when I applied to Clemson, I actually got bridged, which I don't know if you and I have ever talked about this, but Clemson has a program where, you know, you get accepted, you get waitlisted, or sorry, you get accepted, you get bridged, you get waitlisted, and then you get rejected. And the bridge program is essentially Clemson Community College for a year. So you go and you live in an apartment complex with 800 bridge kids, and you go to the technical college down the road. You don't even go to Clemson.
Damn.
You know, it's equivalent to going, like, I basically went to the Anne Arundel Community College of Clemson.
Right.
So yeah, Tri-County Technical College. They call it Harvard on the Hill. But I remember like getting that letter in the mail, and at first I was like, dang, dude, like I really thought that, because I surpassed the requirements to get into Clemson. I was also alumni and stuff like that, and I was like, dude, dang, like I kind of thought that I was gonna, you know, get straight in or whatever. And I was like, hey, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing. And I was like, you know what? Like, when I graduate, I'm going to be a voice for every single bridge kid, because they're the kids that, you know, what screwed me was my class rank. And so I was like, I'm going to be a voice for all the bridge kids, the kids that, you know, come in, think differently, but produce results, and, you know, are innovative and creative thinkers. And I'm going to be a voice for them and showcase the university that, you know, the system that you have for choosing applicants, like, you know, that's cool and all, but like, these kids freaking produce results. Like, don't sleep on these kids.
Yeah.
And so, that I kind of lit a fire under my ass, and I always kind of wanted to prove something. I always felt like I had something to prove because of that.
Dude, I love that, because like, you know, what I'm thinking in my head is like that bridge system almost seems like the people who didn't fit the mold of like the ideal, like, you know, math, science, history. Like, you're not the perfect student, so to speak, for lack of a better term. And so it's
Exactly.
like but I feel like those people are the most important people, because those are the people who are probably free thinkers. They probably, you know, they really wanted to go to Clemson, but they were not perfect at what they were supposed to be perfect at, right? And so I think that that's like such a unique thing, like that it always gets devalued, is like the people who are actually free thinkers and they're good at other stuff. Like, maybe they're not good at the core subjects, like maybe they're not good at the maths, the science, the histories, whatever, but like there's so much value that they have, and there's so much like that they have to offer that people don't see, because it's not highlighted as like something that's really like good in terms of like that 9-to-5 schooling, if that makes sense.
100%, man. And like, when you realize that for yourself, when you realize, like, you know, I'm like, shit, I have to work twice as hard to get a C in this math class than everybody else does to get an A. Hey, you know what? I like, that taught me work ethic. And, you know, people use like ADHD, dyslexia, blah, 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 like reading problems all the time as like an excuse, like, do it. Hey, that's something I was born with. That's something I got to overcome. That's something I just, you know, got to deal with, you know, just because I have these things doesn't mean I'm going to get like preferred treatment in the real world. Like, heck no, dude. And so just kind of realizing, all right, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that next level. When people asked me in high school and college what I wanted to do when I was older, I always told them I was just going to start a company. And I think it was always kind of laughed at. Like, it was always like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. What are you really going to do? You know, like, what's your plan B? Like, there is no plan B, because if you have a plan B, your mind's not on plan A. You know what I mean? So like coming in freshman year, I had a couple startup ideas. I know in high school, I started a t-shirt company called Tattle Tees. I started that with Tommy Melendez and my buddy Liam. But I saw like a huge trend with pocket t-shirts. So I just started sewing on unique pockets on t-shirts, selling them in the hallways at school for, I think, $25 a pop, and was making them close to 10 each or whatever, and just having fun with it, man. I cashed out at $500, realized it wasn't something I was going to be able to scale, and it's just a fun little venture. But that kind of like, to me, I realized like that one small thing made me realize like, okay, cool. Like I can really do something if I put my mind to it. And when I came into Clemson, do you know the brand Southern Tide? By chance? Yeah. So they actually got a hold of me, and I used to sit down. This was when I was getting into videography, and I used to sit down every single day, and I would DM 20 companies every single day. DM 20 companies. My name's Teddy Giard. I'm, a videographer. Here's my portfolio. I made a website, like whatever. Dude, my stuff sucked. I'll be honest. Like the companies that I was DMing at the caliber that I was producing content at was not there. So Southern Tide was the first company to give me a shot. And they're like, I guess Connor Huston, their head of branding. Connor's kind of the guy that got me into branding too, and made me realize that like, hey, like branding's a side of marketing that this is what I could really see you being good at. And Connor was kind of a mentor to me throughout college. He's now he still works with the company. He's an awesome dude, but he really gave me my first shot at working with a company. A lot of their templates and stuff that I learned from, hey, so this is how they distribute work to other people, and this is how they have content requirements and all that sort of stuff. I started to make my own content requirements and reorganize the way I formatted things, reorganize the way I reached out to other companies, and then all of a sudden, like, started to, in a way, come up with a formula of like, this is how I do things. It's replicable. I can teach it to other kids. I can, in a sense, like build an army around it. And from there, that's like where the content series like really started to take off. And that's when Kanga came around. That, like, my sophomore year, these guys had an original product called the Case Koozie that started in a class project. I wasn't in the original class project. I was a freshman at the time. These guys were juniors and seniors. So they were in an upper level class. I was still at the community college. And where I'm bridging the gap going into my sophomore year, they asked me if I'd film a Kickstarter video for them in the spring of my freshman year. I told them no, because I wanted to go wakeboarding with my buddies. And and come back, that Kickstarter failed for them, and they rebranded the company to Kanga. And I remember driving down the car with my dad, and this one guy, Austin Maxwell, and Austin was a senior at the time that I was a freshman. He actually went to Broadneck High School in Maryland, and we went to Smyrna Park. So we had a 4-year gap, but Austin really, really advocated for me and gave me a shot and was like, just let this kid run wild. Like, I don't know what he's going to do. I'll be responsible for the chaos or whatever it is, but just kind of gave me that outlet to be a spaz and unleash my energy. And I think it was the first video they gave. I came in, I told Austin I wanted to do something. He goes, come by our first team meeting. I went in there. Here I am, 18-year-old walking in. It's guys my age now, so it's not like I know a whole lot, but it's like 22, 21, whatever. Here comes this 18-year-old walking. I know what the perception is. Like, I know exactly what I'm walking into. And I walk in there, and they hand me a cooler, and I go, all right, cool. I'll have you something by tomorrow night. And they're all like, really? Like, that fast? I'm like, yep, I'll have you something by tomorrow night. That video organically, I think, reached like 300,000 people. Damn. And I came back in, and I was like, I want skin in the game. I can brand this thing. I can turn this Kanga vision, the brand of Kanga, I can turn it into something that means something to people. So when they use our products, it's not just like, a tactical product that enhances your experience, but there's also an emotional aspect that stands for it as well.
Yeah.
I think that's so powerful these days. And so, long story short, jumped in there as a sophomore and took over our college apartment. Our other roommates were so awesome to us. They were just supportive the whole time. And I mean, if I were in their shoes, I would have been frustrated in a lot of cases because there's paper and shit scattered everywhere. And our apartment turned into an office. Those guys lived in an office space pretty much. And so it's just really cool to see where the journey took us all. And at the end of the day, what really boils down to it was, yes, being bold enough to put yourself in the opportunities, but also surrounding yourself with a community of people that want to bring you up. And so like, I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for people like Connor, Austin, like my family, my brother, my sister, my dad, like my roommates, like every single person I've surrounded myself with that I feel like I've grown close to at Clemson has really just been empowering, has believed in me and given me opportunity. And I'm beyond grateful to them. And I think, you know, academic world, I have my own opinion of this university, but as far as the community goes and the relationships I've built with everybody, I think that's what's powerful. And that's something that you can't put a price tag on.
Yeah, dude, I was just about to say that's priceless, man. But like, you know, one of the cool things as well is like when you're talking about that whole story, it goes back to what you were saying in the beginning, where you were just taking that action, like just doing it. Like you started in high school, you just started the pocket tees. And then after that, you just were like, all right, I'm going to reach out to 20 companies. And then after that, you're like, all right, I'm just going to, shoot my shot and tell them I want skin in the game. And just like, you're just, you're taking the action and you're doing all the right things. And it's just so cool to see that it kind of manifested into this awesome community. And now this like big company, I mean, like it's just cool to see.
So many people right now that are like, sitting back, stagnant. They're, complacent, content, and they're like just kind of waiting on the world, to go back to normal. But like newsflash, it's not going back to normal.
Exactly.
Nothing is going to be the same. And so like, with change, you either conform to it. You use like, the middle ground where everybody, that gray area, you either like, live and die and just like run through it and make something awesome out of it, or you just like, you're just complacent, you're in limbo land, like I don't know what to do, blah blah blah. If you don't make like a concrete decision, like a yes or no decision, and dedicate 100% of your energy to that decision, you're never going to go like any direction. You need to have those like defining moments. And I think I'm just hoping that like I was talking about with Logan, our CEO and founder of Kanga, and he was telling me, he's like, think about like the way that education is so available to us all the time. Like it's at our fingertips. He's like, with the coronavirus and COVID and all this stuff, it's now even more so. Classes are getting moved to online. You're not getting in-person interaction, like whatever it is. Dude, people have way more time than they're used to having. And so whether that's, time that you want to focus on your mindset, or whether that's something you want to like try to start something, like there is never a good time to start something. And if you wait for people to, tell you the tricks and hacks on how to do something, you're already too late, because people have figured it out. If there's a textbook that's getting like presented to you like by your teachers, that's like, hey, here you go, so this is how you like market, or this is how you manage, or this is how you do it. Dude, that textbook took 2 years to write and read. It was getting researched about, and then it got 2 years to get approved. By the time it's in your hand, it is 4 years down the road. It is 4 years behind the time of now. And so your professors are spending all their time researching on what is going on in the world, when in reality, there are people out there freaking doing the shit that people are researching. So why don't you be one of those guys that's doing the shit? That way your teachers can be talking about you in the textbook, and therefore you can provide so much more knowledge to everybody around you and bring that much more value to the world. It's a time of opportunity.
Dude, I love that. Wow. I never thought about it. I like that example because it's like such a good example. I would have never thought about that, but it's so true, man. Like there's no perfect time for anything. Like I always say, like imperfect action beats a perfect plan, because like the stars will never align perfectly for the right opportunity, dude. Like fucking just like take imperfect action and learn and try and fail along the way. And that's the best way to do it. But I love that example, man. That's great. I love that.
Dude, like think about it though. Like so, all right, Tommy, like when you moved to Florida, like you took this like leap of faith.
Right.
Like, imagine if you were like, I mean, dude, like, your finances were probably in check because like I know you've been saving up your money. I know you've been working hard because you've known like there isn't going to be a right time to do this. And like when the time comes, like I need to act now. And that's exactly what you did. You said you got that email and the next day you're like, I'm moving to Florida. I'm doing this. And which is sick, dude. Not many people will take that leap of faith. And like, I'm sure like, you know, you're happy right now, right? Like you're just, dude, I mean, how can you not be? I mean, you're investing in yourself. It's cool. Not many people give themselves that opportunity. Yeah. And so imagine if you sat back and you were like, yeah, you know, I'm just going to wait until, you know, COVID is over, and then I'm going to save up X number of dollars beforehand. And then I'm going to make sure I have like a roommate before you planning all that out. You're setting up roadblocks. Yes. You putting your ass in the scenario, you're setting up opportunity because now you have to fulfill all those empty spaces. Yeah. And what do you end up doing? You end up networking, you end up building a community, and you learn along the way. And one of my, like, to build off that, like, one of my favorite quotes is by Yvon Chouinard. He's the founder of Patagonia. But it's funny. Like, his book is autobiography. It's called Let My People Go Surfing. It's just the entire business model of Patagonia. It's freaking brilliant. But it was funny. This was a quote that, like, wasn't even, like, you know, a mic drop quote. But to me, it's the one that stood out the most. And he said, learn by doing. It's the fastest process.
I love that.
Action over, you know.
I love that, man. That's a great quote. Yeah, it's so true, man. Because like you could, all right, like in theory, you could read all the books in the world, but if you don't like fucking apply and like do the stuff that you've learned from those books, it means nothing, dude. Like I used to know a dude who would read all the books, and I'd be like, man, this intelligent dude. He's reading all these books, but he would never like apply what he was learning. He would just read all these books. And so I was like, I learned down the line that I was like, man, like his head was in the right spot, but he never like took advantage of everything that he was, you know, learning. And that was something that that's priceless. You know what I mean? Like doing the damn thing, you know,
doing it. And that's what like, dude, it's, you know, I'm an Under Armour guy because like that's where my dad grew up. You know, Nike's motto, "Just do it," is the most applicable motto in the whole world, and it resonates with their brand so well. Like Nike, you know, has stood for controversy. They've, you know, they're bold. They're out there, and they don't wait for society to give them the green light. They just do it.
Yeah.
They set up the light and they make it green. They say, hey, they give their athletes like a voice. They give their community a voice. Like that's why they're so powerful, dude. That's why they're so big. Like but really like doing is it's so funny. Like it just boils down to like anything in life is, are you able to do something? Are you able to execute it? And like, are you proud of the outcome? And if you're not proud about the outcome, how can you do it again next time you can be proud of it?
So if you don't mind, can you talk a little bit about Kanga and kind of its early days, like compared to now, especially?
When we started Kanga, you know, we're in college before it was even something that anyone believed in, was kind of where our team really just connected. Was that, because that time frame, it's just weird to look back on, man, because right now we've been scaling a whole lot, and you know, I like to think that people have either seen it somewhere or heard of it by this time. But by like my sophomore year, like when we were like really jumping into things and trying to launch a Kickstarter and stuff, what was really fun was to see the people asking us, do you really think, like, where do you really think this is going to go? Are you going to go, like, you guys are like, you know, trying to get on Shark Tank? Like, dude, you guys are going to get slammed up there. Oh, do you guys, I mean, what's the point of this thing? It doesn't really work. All that stuff, man. You know, what's cool is, do I hold a grudge against anyone that said, heck no? I appreciate what they're saying because, you know, it's what I'm going to prove them wrong about later.
Exactly.
But do I forget who said it? Heck no. Like, I will always remember the people that stood by our side and were like, these guys are going to make something happen, which is few and far between. But what is cool is to see the people that were asking you those questions beforehand now coming back and being like, hey, what you guys did is really cool and inspiring. They had doubt.
Man, that is awesome. Like, that's what it's all about, man. Like, the people who were maybe like taught that this is the way you have to go, and they see someone like you who's going against the grain a little bit, and they're like, man, you really think that's going to work? And now they're on the flip side being like, man, like you kind of like showed them the path. That is a fucking awesome thing, man.
That's like one of my favorite things. Like, when I get to walk around now and see somebody using our product that I know was once questioning me whether I thought it was a good use of my time and stuff like that, I'm like, clearly it is. And I think what's just great about that is, you know, to anyone that's trying to start something or go down a path that's, you know, less traveled, high risk, high reward, because it's such a high risk, dude, 80% of the world is not going to believe in you.
Exactly.
And like, be cool with that. Who cares what other people think? Do your thing. Do what you're good at. Do what you think you can make a change. Like, if you think you can make a change and stand for something, and, you know, you believe in something enough to make you want to, like, you're waking up every day and you're excited to go work on something, who cares about how much money you're making? Absolutely. At the end of the day? Like, what you're doing is actually making an impact. And so many people, you know, can stand on piles of money, but wake up every day and dread going to work. And, you know, what are you living for at that point? Are you really, like, you know, inspiring other people? Are you making a difference? Like, or are you just, you know, collecting the paycheck and banking on using it for the, you know, last quarter of your life? You know, it's all about, we always say it's about the journey, not the end destination. So, like, people ask like, you know, what's your exit strategy with Kanga? Like, ask our founder and everything. Dude, we don't think about that. Like, people, venture capitalist firms come up to us, like, you know, guys are talking about throwing in millions, and they're like, you got to have an exit strategy. Like, you got to do it. What's the worst thing we could do? The worst thing we could do would be scale too fast, and then we have a firm like you guys coming in telling us what we have to do. The best thing we can do is scale at a linear rate. We're launching products at the rate we want to. We're calling the shots. We're building the brand. And you know what? We're living the way that we want to live day in and day out. A VC firm could come in and pump money into us, and we could, you know, take off across the country and, you know, maybe die in 4 or 5 years, just get a cooler in everybody's hands. But, like, what happens if we get a cooler in everybody's hands, and then, you know, they buy into the brand and we can make product improvements, and then all of a sudden, you know, they want to upgrade, they want to keep following along the journey. That's how you create a cult following. You can't put a price tag on that. So like, we could sell out, you know, we could do whatever, you know, that, and a lot of people look at that as like, you know, like, you guys sell out, you get handed a check, like, that's worth it. I'm like, dude, like, I'm not in this for the money, dude. I am in this, you know, to make a living, have fun, inspire others, give back, and hopefully create a community that is just like that I can keep living in for the rest of my life, because I love the people I'm surrounded by. I love the connections that I'm making. And, you know, the biggest thing I find with a lot of the people like CEOs and entrepreneurs and stuff is, they're doing what they love for a living and they're all happy. You don't see that often in the real world, like people that are truly happy about what they're doing. And so, being an entrepreneur, like saying you're an entrepreneur is a sexy thing to say these days. I don't even consider myself an entrepreneur because I think in order to be an entrepreneur, you got to accomplish something big and that title's given to you. And so I would never call myself one. But I think other entrepreneurs that I've talked to, seeing their passion for life, passion for the things that they do, and just the fact that they are just ready to go all the time is what really drives me. It's the journey. It's not the end destination.
Dude, I love everything you just said, man. Like, it's so cool for people listening to realize that someone like you who's in a position to maybe like someone comes around and offers you guys, a huge check. Like, you're literally saying that you wouldn't take it because you love, what you do for work. And I think that that's so priceless. And, you're happy and you see the vision for where this is going. And if other people don't, that's okay. Like, everything you just said, man, is like everything that Powerful One represents. And that's why I wanted to get you on the podcast so much, is just because like you have that same energy and that same kind of mindset that so few people have. And that's why sometimes it's hard to get people on the podcast, is because like no one really fits the mold, man. And like everything you're doing, like you love what you do. Like you're doing it for happiness, not for the money, man. Like everything that you just said and everything that you're doing is freaking awesome, man. I respect it and I love it.
After this, we'll connect because I got some pretty cool guys I can get on this podcast.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That I know would really like it. But dude, yeah, I mean, so as far as like, going through college and starting a company, like it was probably like the most like unorthodox approach to take to education. Like, even my parents were like, you got to get a 3.0. You got to get a 3.0. It eventually got to the point where, dude, the only reason I got a 3.0 is because of COVID and because all of our classes got changed to pass fail. This semester I was sitting at like a 2.2. My parents would not have been happy with me, but by the grace of God, God's timing, God's plan, I was able to pull out that 3.0. But like, I mean, just squeezed it out, dude. Oh, just by the skin of my teeth, man. I had to pretty much negotiate an A in my last class, like, because I'm like, look, if I don't get an A in this class, my parents are gonna kill me, because in South Carolina, if you get over a 3.0, like you save a shit ton on car insurance. So I pitched her this whole thing, like, look, like I need this money, like for the company, which is true. And I'm just like, what can I put in on the back end to, my attendance isn't great. My test scores aren't that great. We got this final project. I bet I can help you implement this project with the university and get you in touch with the right people and actually come up with a presentation to pitch this idea. She said, if you can help me present it to the university, that's a deal. And so that was it. That was how I got that A in that.
See, look, again, I got to stop you, because it's just like, it goes back to this, like, you're going for it, bro. And that's like a testament to where you're at right now, because the common theme with a lot of the stuff you're saying is like, you're just shooting your shot. Like we said in the beginning, like you're just going out and like, you're doing it, man. Like you just, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Worst thing someone can give you is no. And then what are you going to do? You're going to go out and do it anyways and prove to them why they should have said yes.
Exactly.
And so I think, that's it. It's just blind optimism goes a long way sometimes, but it's also not getting bent up about things too much. Like everyone has different ways of doing things. And so work together, work with somebody. What can I do? How can I tap into what I'm good at to benefit you? If we can both benefit, then that's golden.
I love the direction we're going. So like, I guess next, like, do you want to go over maybe how, like some of the struggles you guys had with Kanga and kind of like where you're at now? I mean, like, I'm kind of curious, like, did you guys ever have like any doubts? Or cause I know other people are always going to have doubts and the people around you are always going to have doubts, but like, honestly, like, did you guys have doubts or talk me a little bit through that?
This is like one of my favorite questions, so I'm glad that you asked this. So no. Because people ask, were you surprised when you went on Shark Tank and got a deal with Mark Cuban? We were the fastest deal to ever be made on the show. We didn't even negotiate. It was just what we asked for was offered, and boom, we were done. And people ask me that, I say no. Why? Because why would I invest 70 hours into my week? Why would I expect 4 other guys to be investing 70 plus hours a week of their time into something that like even had the option of failing? And so I think if you even believe that this thing could fail, like you're not all the way in it.
Yep.
Because if you don't believe that, if you believe that it's going to succeed, like you are going to do anything you can to make it succeed. And if you finally hit that wall where it's like, you know, that point of no return, you know, throw your hands up in the air, pack up, and take away like what you learned there, and go frickin' start the next thing.
Yeah.
And so when we started this thing, like I think it's a true testament to like the team that we have. Like our CEO Logan is, I mean, just one of the most powerful leaders I've ever been around. And it's crazy because Logan's 3 years older than me, but I think he's got the wisdom of somebody that's 5 to 10 years older than me. And he is the best manager and best leader I've ever been surrounded by. Wow. Because he understands everybody's personality. It's a lot of personality in one group, dude. To have somebody in each department, like each one of us runs our own department. And as the CEO, he's in charge of making sure that we are all striving for the right thing. Mm-hmm. And the way that he was able to take this thing, when Logan graduated college, he went straight for his parents' basement, didn't take a salary. Dude, he was making like, he took a salary that put him $1 under the amount that he would have to make. If he made $1 extra that year, he'd have to pay taxes. But because he was making so little, he didn't have to pay taxes. And he lived off that for like 2 years. He's about to move out of his parents' basement, but he made the ultimate sacrifice. Yeah. And having a leader like that who is willing to do anything, willing to stick their neck out there isn't a thing that guy wouldn't do to make sure that this company doesn't die. Yeah. And I think that's why, because I believed in him so much, I think I never had a doubt in where we would go.
Wow, man. That's a testament to his leadership. That's incredible.
Yeah. You'll have to get him on the podcast.
Yeah.
He'll gladly do it. And you guys would have a field day, man.
Well, man, dude, yeah, I wasn't surprised. Like when you said no, I was, that's kind of what I was expecting to say. I didn't think you had any doubts.
Yeah, I think when I remember my dad came down. So my freshman year, I came up with a concept for the football team in the university's marketing department where the players would like vlog and create like a video story. I ended up getting in front of my roommate, Kyle. Now, this is how he and I met. It was finals week, and we came up with this idea on the weekend. And we're like, this could really take off. And we're in finals. And so everyone's studying for finals, but we're looking at it as like, okay, cool. We're in finals. We're about to go home for the summer. If we don't finish up a pitch deck for this thing and get to pitch to the university, we're never going to be able to do it. So we pulled all-nighters working on this side project instead of studying for finals. And we're, you know, barely scraping by. And we finally get in front of the marketing department. We pitch them the idea. They told us it wasn't going to get implemented, like it was a long shot or whatever. Come back in the fall, it's implemented on all platforms. And so that was my biggest lesson up front, is to never give anyone your good ideas for free. And my dad told me not to do it beforehand, and I went and did it anyways. So that was like a dad, you were right kind of moment. And you know, it stung a whole lot. And am I still bitter towards them? Yes. But that bitter is never channeled negatively. It's only channeled positively in the aspect of like, I will crush them and prove to them one day that you don't walk on freshmen. And so that's like kind of the way I've channeled it, is like, I'm going to stand up for like the rookies, the underdogs, man. Like the underdogs deserve a voice, and like they shouldn't be walked on. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be undervalued. So like building off of that, who actually sat in on the interview when we pitched it was the head of the entrepreneurship department at the university. And that week, right before we left for summer, he came in and he offered Kyle and I both an internship that fall at the entrepreneurship department in the university. And basically, we didn't have a lot of explanation on it. It's like, hey, come intern for the entrepreneurship department. I'm like, okay, cool. Paid internship. It's going to look good on the resume. My parents will be happy. Entrepreneurship sounds cool, whatever. I wasn't involved with Kanga at this point. And so I go in. Turns out I show up to like the board meeting, and I was the only intern that hadn't gone through the formal interview process. And the guy now running the department was different than the guy that gave me the job in the first place. So I'm rolling in here. There's a group of people that I didn't know I was going to be with. I don't know what this internship is. I found the spot on campus on my phone maps, like trying to find it, like for like 15 minutes. I was 15 minutes late to like the onboarding meeting, like right when everyone came back for the fall semester, my sophomore year. We sit down and I get put on the spot right away. And the head of the department goes, yeah, Teddy, like, so I guess you're the guy that the last old guy that got let go, let through, like no one really knows who you are. Like you're kind of like, you're not, but you shouldn't be like,
oh, wow.
In a way, like you got to prove yourself, you know, and that's the way I took it. It's like, kind of like you being here isn't like, no, you didn't go through the normal process. Like no one knows what you're going to do. Like kind of like, it's up to you. Like you're either going to be a flop or like you can do something big. And he puts me on the spot in front of the whole room. Are you an entrepreneur or analyst? That's what you're going to be doing for the whole semester. That's what he follows it up with. I go, well, analyst sounds fucking boring. Okay, I'm an entrepreneur. And that's just like what I said. I'm an entrepreneur. And he goes, okay, cool. What's your company? On the spot. I'm starting a videography department and branding company, and can hopefully apply that to start a lifestyle brand in the outdoors industry, is what I said. Made it up, but I said it out loud, became a goal. Next thing you know, I get involved with the Kanga guys, and that was kind of the position that we took from there. So that entrepreneurship department really gave me that opportunity to, take it off from there. Dude, I forget what the root of the first question was. We were kind of just building off of. Like, yeah, but again, it's that go-getter thing. Just,
man.
What's it gonna take to do it? What was the question you prefaced? Because I went off and I was gonna tie it in somehow, but I forgot.
No, I don't remember. I don't think it was anything. I think you covered it. I think it was just about. I don't actually think there was. I think you had answered my question before, and then you went into this.
Cool.
We'll find out when I listen back, but it's all good.
I love it. I think what I was trying to get at with this is from there, like, as a team, I was trying to gas up the entrepreneurship department at the university. That's what I was trying to do. The guys leading that department, man, are awesome. So I'm kind of trying to speak towards kids that are going into college now.
Yeah.
If there's an entrepreneurship department at your school, if you're passionate about starting a company, go find these people, because if you're a teacher and you're good at teaching, your job is to help students. Right. So your job is to research. And if you really care, your job is to help students. The ones that really do a good job put helping students first, because like we said, research is outdated. Research is a thing of the past. Yeah. All those Harvard kids can go, have fun. But, research-based curriculum to the T, that's cool and all. Like, dude, what's actually happening? But, getting in front of the right people, it's when you step foot on campus, when you step foot in Florida, Tommy, like when you step foot in Severna Park, like a new opportunity, when you step foot into somewhere for the first place, the first thing you got to do is find, okay, cool. One, I got to think internally, what are my goals? You got to set goals for yourself. Like you set goals for yourself, Tommy?
Of course. Yeah.
Long-term and short-term.
Yep.
Yeah. The whole shebang. And like, I always have just like a fucking nuke up there too. That's like, I probably won't ever get that, but like,
right. Yeah,
why not, dude? But just, okay, cool. I have these goals. Now, where you start looking into the maps and the clubs on campus and the people that run them, who can I get involved with that will, you know, maybe share similar goals and want to get to the same place as me? Like, how can we work together? How can we form a community? Everything in life is the community you surround yourself by. And like, you know, at the university, the entrepreneurship department was a crucial community too. I was kind of just like a shithead freshman year. I had like really college freedom. That got the best of me. I was just, you know, having a good time. And when I finally came to my senses, I think it was like when I went abroad that summer, and I realized, okay, cool. Like, I got 3 years here and people are saying this thing's going to fly by. Like, I should probably figure out what I want to do before I graduate. Right. So I made it a goal to know where I was working by the junior year of college. And that's a weird goal. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people were like I wanted to have a secure job by my junior year. I wanted to be working while I was in school. I wanted to be getting a head start. I wanted to, you know, start in a small company, get a big title, work my way up, prove my ground. I wanted to be competing with the 30-year-olds. I want to be competing with guys that are 10 years in this thing. And I think the way I saw it was the guys that were surrounding the entrepreneurship department, the board of directors, they're all 30, 40-year-olds. And they keep telling us, man, I wish we had that mind. I wish we had the similar mindset as you guys when we were your age. So kind of like lit a fire into my ass. Like, hey, this is a mentality and an opportunity that we're sitting on that shouldn't be taken lightly. And from there, it was just kind of like, all that we can do is put everything into it. That being said, like, you know, you have that mentality, but nobody understands. And like you said, it's hard to get people on the podcast. Like, would you agree that it's very hard to find people that share similar mentalities? And do you often have that feeling that like you're misunderstood?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it goes back to like 100% to answer your question, but you know, and I've always felt that way. Like, it goes back to what you were saying. Like, in high school, I was like, I knew I didn't want the 9 to 5 that everyone else was. I knew I didn't want really like the college experience that everyone else was. So I've always felt misunderstood, and I always have felt like it's hard to, for the most part, to have people around me. That's why I always keep my circle pretty small, just because it's for me, it's hard to find people around me who have that same kind of drive for wanting something different than what was laid out for you. So yeah.
I think like very similar to like what you said is people if you don't look for community in the right places, you're not going to find the results that you're looking for.
Absolutely.
You are custom. You're basically a production. I guess that's the wrong word for it, but you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Yeah. So are those people working to help you grow? Are those people, you know, not? Like, I think having a work-life balance too is so important. Like, you know, you have those people you can come to with certain things. Your work friends, like, can be some of your best friends, but you also need to have that balance, because in any group, coming together and having different mindsets and different beliefs and different, you know, ways of doing things is so important. Because
right
you know, if every single person is the same and you're going to attack something, you're all going to attack it the exact same way. You need to attack from all angles. It's like war, dude. You're going to battle with people. You got to surround the enemy. You know what I mean? You're going to get someone to come in and flank them. You're going to get someone to come in front, call in the airstrike, and then if that doesn't work, drop the nuke. So it's applicable to anything. With anything that involves a team, you got to find a team though, man. You got to find just a core group of individuals that you can be yourself around, that you can grow with and be real with. And when you have people that you can be real with, like, you will grow internally and mentally so much. And you'll also just feel happier. You have a community of people that you can surround yourself with.
Well, yeah, I think that's another common theme that you've mentioned is like the people that have been around you have helped you so much, whether it's like the entrepreneurial group, whether it's your family, whether it's the Kanga guys. Like, it always just seems like you, and I agree, I think that's so important to have not only mentors, but, you know, peers and friends, like a group of people that kind of share that same energy. I think it's super important. So it's amazing that you found that in Kanga. And like you said, like you put 100% of your trust into, you know, Logan and Kanga and the brand itself. So like, I mean, is that something that you feel like is why you guys are at where you're at, because you do have that kind of culture and that community at Kanga?
Without a doubt, dude. I think that we have one of the coolest company cultures in the United States of America. Without a doubt, hands down. I think that each one of us has a mindset and ability to execute that is completely different than the person to the right and left of us. That being said, I think that every single one of those abilities to execute is completely and entirely crucial to having the entire team work together.
Yeah.
I think because we all bring in such different mindsets and aspects, we can all look at each other and, you know, let each other run the way that we run. You know, our CEO, Logan, he has a Microsoft Excel sheet that he organizes his day probably down to like down to 5 minutes.
Damn.
That's not the way I roll, but like, you know, for him, that's the way he does it. And that's cool. Like our software guy, Kyle, like he's also a co-founder and like, dude, I like software, like marketing. I don't even know what to give him a title. Like titles are so hard with these guys.
Yeah,
they do so much. Everyone wears so many different hats, but dude, Kyle's most productive at 3 a.m.
Wow.
And so, you know, we changed like the time you have to start your day. It's latest you can get into the office is 10, which is awesome because it accommodates for everybody. You have a late night. Sometimes like, you know, sometimes you'll be firing in all cylinders, like late at night. That's when you're getting your best ideas. And if it's something like, hey guys, I got to, you know, catch up on some sleep that I like missed earlier. I'm going to be waking up at 9 and then commute to the office, get there by 10. That's cool, man. It's flexible. It's free. It's like we want to create an environment for everybody to feel comfortable and have the freedom to work and produce the best way that they possibly can. And, you know, if people are coming in and we're seeing them, we're like, hey man, like, you know, I know that you're doing this and you say it's working or whatever, but it's not working for the team. That's cool.
Right.
We can all come together and figure it out. But because it's such an open, carefree, fun structure, we don't have like time off. Like you take time off when you need to take time off. You get your job done. You get your job done. I think that's like the company culture that is missing in America. And I think that's the company culture that is the most is the most productive culture that you can possibly possess. And I see that culture with a lot of really cool startups. And like a lot of entrepreneurs I talk to share that same mentality. Hey, marketing guys run on their own clock, man. Like they don't have to come into the office every day. Like they just got to give us a heads up. You know, it's just being considerate of the people around you, like from both ends, being considerate to be like, hey, this is my schedule, like just so people can work with it, but also being considerate and realizing that other people work differently than you.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome, because like you can tell when you watch you guys like Kanga, and it's so cool that you kind of like let people know like the behind the scenes stuff, and you really get people like an in to like the people of Kanga, but like also just the brand itself. But like you can really tell how great your guys' culture is and how fun it is, because I think that, well, I know, and I've seen it from companies with 500 plus people burned to the ground because of a bad culture. And I've also seen it with, you know, companies with 20 people, small businesses burned to the ground, and it all comes from culture. And so like the fact that you guys have a culture that is like accommodating, everybody can use their strengths and whatnot, and like also like keep it fun, because that's the most important thing. And then when cultures start to get bad, it just becomes not fun. And like you guys just, it's awesome to see that you have that, such a good culture. Like you said, like one of the best in like ever.
Yeah, dude. And when you really break it down, like there's not a huge difference between a culture and a brand. And I would even go as far to argue that they're the same exact thing. Because a brand is a lifestyle in a way that you live life, and it has a mission. You know, our mission is to bring fun and convenience to beverage cooling solutions and use business to promote a wholesome and fulfilling lifestyle. That's our mission. That's our goal. That's a belief that we all share and live by every day. So because we have that core belief and that's our brand, that kangaroo, that's what that kangaroo stands for.
Yeah.
We have to do, we have to live that way, man. We have to live that way. It's
right,
positive,
right.
Man. It's fulfilling, but we got to do our part to live it. And I think you see brands like Under Armour, man. Like Under Armour came out the gates hot. You remember when Under Armour was like the cool thing? Like, yeah, it was. I mean, Baltimore boys, like everyone live and die Under Armour, like protect this house, whatever it is. But dude, Under Armour created CrossFit before CrossFit was a thing. You know what I mean? Like it was like that, you know, you're tossing tires, you're using a hammer, like it's badass garage, whatever the heck you can get your hands on, you're tough, you're getting after it, and you're freaking Ray Lewis going through a deck of cards, busting out push-ups. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they start to grow, bring on, you know, investors, have a different board. The board of directors wants certain things. The people that they're bringing into the company, you know, have worked in the athletic industry. They're bringing in people from Nike, Adidas, like all these different cultures, like whatever. What happened to the Under Armour brand? Like, what would you define the Under Armour brand as these days?
I don't know. Like we were talking about before, like the Nike brand is very like apparent, like, you know what they represent, but like, to be honest with you, I don't know.
I don't know either. And that's the thing, is they had like something that stood for something and meant so much. And I think because they brought in, and bringing in people is great. People to come in, and because they're going to provide an outside mindset. But I think what goes to show is when you have a board of directors that's making the decisions, and the board of directors isn't living by your brand's mission, how do they know what's best for your consumer? You know? And I think that's a testament to the direction that they went in. I think that there were too many opposing objectives that they lost sight of, like their core roots. It all comes down to your roots, man. Like, man, what are your core beliefs, and like, what are you trying to get out there? And I think that's what they lost sight of. And you see it now, like the company is struggling, man. Their stock is low. I think that if Under Armour is going to survive, what they need is a massive rebrand. And I think that they need to redefine the company culture. And like I said, I think culture and brand work hand in hand. So
yeah, man, that's so interesting. That's something I never thought about, but it makes so much sense, because you think about like your guys' culture is like what you're trying to have the company represent is exactly what you guys represent, and they go along like perfectly. And so it's like creating this organic, like awesome community. And so that's like such a good point. I never even thought about it like that, but it's, you're spot on.
It's a community that everyone feels like they can be a part of and want to be a part of as well. So, you know, we get kids all the time, like, how can I come intern here? Like, that's my favorite comment to ever get. It's, hey, look, like, people think what we're doing is cool. Like, it's doing its job. It's being positive. But I think at the end of the day, if what we can stand for as a brand to get this out there is to like redefine the way that people work and define work and define company culture. I think getting as we start working with different brands, as we start like, you know, doing stuff, I'm hoping that these brands can take something from them, like look at what they're doing. Like, they're usually older than us, have more knowledge or whatever. But I think what I really hope that they can take from us is our company culture and the way that we're built, and how it's so authentic. It's so real. What you see is exactly what we're doing. Like, we are beyond transparent. And that's
Yeah.
cool because we want everybody to have a say.
Yeah, man. No, that's great, dude. I have no doubt that you guys are going to continue to be successful because of that alone. Because like I said, I've literally seen companies that have bad cultures burned to the ground, dude, and it all stems from that. So like, what excites you the most, like, I guess, about Kanga, like, going forward? Like, what are you most excited about? Because now you're full-time Kanga, right? You're graduated, you're full-time Kanga. So like, I mean, what excites you about, like, what's next, man?
Well, first off, graduating school was the happiest day of my life.
Oh, I bet, dude.
Yeah. I had that 2.2, ended up pulling out a 3.0, but that was the biggest breath of fresh air.
Oh, man.
I remember shutting my laptop after taking my last test, and I was just like, holy crap, I did it. I could not believe it. I could not believe it because it was the most pressing thing school was the only thing that ever stood in front of what I wanted to do in life.
Yeah.
Because it was the only thing that I was forced to do that I really didn't want to do.
Right.
You know? And so being done with that, so grateful for my parents to give me that opportunity. And like, I hope I made them proud, like showing that, like doing everything that I could to show my gratitude towards them. But when you have something in your life that's, you know, a roadblock, and when you finish it, man, it feels so good. So like coming out the gates hot, man. I closed my laptop, and the next day I was up at 8 a.m. and I was in the office full time.
Damn, bro.
I didn't even take a day off. I was just freaking ready, man. I've been ready to get out of school for the last 3 years. Finally did it. And it was great. And that was the mentality I wanted to have. I wanted to be ready for the next transition. Mm-hmm. I'm not sad leaving this place. I'm grateful for the opportunities it gave me, but I am excited for what's in front. The kids coming back that are like, you know, posting the teardrop emojis, like taking a picture of the stadium and stuff like that. Like, I feel sorry for you, because you should be, you know, you should always reflect and be grateful for what you have. Yes. It's okay to get emotional in those times, but if you're afraid to leave this place, that is a problem, because you obviously didn't set yourself up for what's next. You always got to have, you know, the rear view mirrors like disengaged and the headlights on hot. But coming out the gate, man, like what I'm really excited about is with Kanga, like we're growing an ambassador program. So we're going to have like basically trying to expand into universities. I'm trying to take over the 18 to 24-year-old demographic. Like whether I'm not promoting underage drinking, I'm promoting the lifestyle. I'm promoting people that want to have fun, that want to participate in like positive activities and like, you know, have a better outcome on their life. And I think that's something that we all stand for. And by the time that they are able to drink, like we want to be that cooler, you know, that they're looking at. So through like, you know, making merchandise, through making whatever it is, getting it in the hands of other people, partnering up with really cool brands that we like Friday Beers. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah.
They're hysterical, man. But those guys are so cool. Very similar story, like a bunch of Ivy League grads, lacrosse players, and just were blog writers. And they're like, dude, this shit we're making is hilarious, and built an entire brand around it. Like they have an awesome story. Like hook gear, like the fishing gear. Those guys are awesome. We've partnered with them. They're also Clemson grads, which is super cool. But continuing to expand on those partnerships is something I really look forward to. In a perfect world, I want to be working with companies like Dan's, Burton. Like, I mean, I got a list of them up on that. But you know, when the time presents itself, we'll be there. But like, we're ready and we're already pushing for it. And so building that out. And then what I'm really excited to start doing is I'm in the process of directing and drafting a couple short movies, but
nice.
I'm going to make a documentary series on the story of Kanga.
Wow, dude. That's going to be freaking awesome.
It's going to be a 10-episode series. You know, I honestly don't think I'll have the whole thing done until next summer, because I think I'm going to put that much time into it. And I want it to be that impactful. I want it to be something that a college professor could assign in a class. For their students to watch it. You know what I mean? Because I want it to really be that impactful, and it's going to be fun. Don't get me wrong. It's going to be 70%, 80% entertainment. But I want But I want people to be able to look inside this company and see it for what it is and, you know, buy in. And so I think by doing that, we can position the brand in a way at the very end of it, by getting people to understand our whole story and mindset from every single individual, making them feel personally connected with each one of us. I think at the very end, we can really position the brand however we want to. So that's what I'm really excited about. And then also like with the ambassador program, like I got a couple like studs that came in that are like pro wakeboarders, wake surfers, whatever it is. And something that I'm going to start, and a lot of these kids are college kids. So something I'm going to start is like a short, just 3 episode, like quick docu-series. Like each one will be like 5 to 7 minutes, but I want to tell the story on these kids and give them a video that they can promote like their lifestyle on, like when they're going back to college, anything that's not normal, anyone that's taking a risk, doing something cool, but most importantly, doing something that they love. I want to promote them, give them something to hold on to. And I think that helping out these kids and giving them something to stand on and being like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I believe in. I think I can help them gain, you know, a follower base, and ultimately what is that tied to? It's tied to the Kanga brand, which is tied to bringing fun and convenience to beverage cooling solutions. So all in all, what I'm most excited about is building out this community and making it as strong as possible.
Dude, I love that, man. That's freaking awesome. And it's like, it's cool what you're doing. And it's like what I'm doing. It's like a similar thing. Like you want to help people and give people like a platform who have done something that's very different, and then in turn help your brand. That's kind of like, it's cool to see that we have like so much similar energy, but also like the visions. So man, like, I guess like, let's finish with, maybe we've touched on it already, maybe we haven't, but like you have so much good value to give people, but like I said, maybe we already said it, but if you could give people just one main like piece of life advice that you've learned through your life, what would that be?
There's so much you can give, Ben. I think one, so I'm going to speak personally on behalf of me of what I've found. But one, faith is the most important thing you can have in life. If you believe in a higher power, I'm personally a Christian, you believe in a higher power, you believe that, you know, there's somebody that is in control of these outcomes at the end of the day, and that there's somebody that is always by your side, and that, you know, is going to make ridiculous things happen. But at the end of the day, like God has the power to turn every negative like interaction or outcome into something positive, is a core belief that I have, and something that helps me live day to day. And by believing that, you know, God was a perfect human that, you know, walked this earth, like none of us can be like him. None of us can do it. But what we like, the reason we're put on this earth is to give it our best to be like him. So striving for perfection is impossible, and realizing that's impossible is healthy. And, you know, realizing that you're going to sin like is healthy, because everyone's going to do it. But from there, not judging people and constantly working to whatever you're doing in life should be bringing people up and should never be, you know, bringing them down.
Absolutely.
And if you're bringing down somebody that's bringing other people down, you know, take down that person, but bring up the group that they put down. You know what I mean? You should always be empowering people. You should always be listening to people, giving them opportunity, and, you know, looking into somebody before you make assumptions. And so I think the core belief that you are not perfect and you are no better, you're no smarter, and like whatever it is than the person to the left or right of you. Life is a competition. Someone's going to come out on top. But in terms of like on top, what does that mean to you?
Yeah.
What is on top? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it, you know, the car I drive, or is it the way I live? Is it what I'm doing day in and day out? And I think at the root of that, if you can focus on becoming that best version of yourself, you will see people react to that. and you will see that people will listen.
Mm.
People also want to join you on that journey. And if that journey is rooted within your faith, I think every day you're honoring God and thanking him for putting you on this earth. And I think that through honoring him, he's going to put good things in front of you, and he's going to help you accomplish everything that you've dreamed of. If you work as hard as you can and you put everything you have into it, you working as hard as you can and working to be as happy as you can and working to build other people up, that is you telling him, thank you for giving me this opportunity to be on this earth. That's the way that I look at it. And I think that if you can find it within you to have that sort of fire, he's the only one that can give you that fire. But if you can find it, man, you're good. You're good.
I love that. I love it, bro. That's awesome, man. That's a good one. I always love when people have ones that I haven't like heard before, like just a different perspective. That's great, man. So like, so where can people find you? Where can people find Kanga? All that good stuff.
Totally, man. You guys can find me on my Instagram is Teddy G111. I'm on TikTok with that as well, pretty much across all platforms. And then for Kanga, we're at Kanga Coolers. You can check us out, it's kangacoolers.com now. And I don't know if you're on TikTok, Tommy, but Kanga's been blowing up on TikTok. So if you're trying to get entertained, go give us a
nice.
I think we hit like we're almost at like 35,000 followers. Hit like
damn.
Last 28 days, man, we had like over 10 million video views. Like we're having fun with
That's
it, man.
crazy. Wow, good for you guys.
Dude, TikTok's really where you can get the inside scoop. If you want to see what day-to-day like life at the office is like, that's where you're gonna get.
Damn.
So,
oh, awesome. Check them out on TikTok then. I have to look at that too. Yeah. That's great.
It's fun stuff, dude. But yeah, I mean, other than that, go give my brother a look. Look out for his workout plans.
Yes.
Tommy, one guy I want to get on the podcast with you is my buddy Bergie. He invented Swoveralls and has started his own company. Has started a company where they're doing, it's called Sweat from Home, but they're doing Zoom online workouts during COVID.
Oh shit.
I really want you guys to connect and getting him on the
that would
podcast.
be great, man.
He's my Friday afternoon mentor. I talk with him weekly.
Damn, that's freaking great, man.
Cool guy.
Dude, that's freaking awesome. Well, dude, I appreciate you, man. You did it. You made it to the end of the episode. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching the podcast. Be sure to go like it, subscribe, share, all that stuff that you're supposed to say at the end of the podcast. Thank you guys again, and stay tuned every Thursday, powerful1.com/podcast, or on the Instagram page at powerful0ne powerful1. Thank you guys again. And again, last thing, if you guys are interested in being on the podcast, hit me up. If you got a cool story and feel like you really fit the mold for Powerful One, hit me up. We'll get you on the podcast. Thank you guys. Stay safe.